shelter is coming to Saskatoon. The city chooses a location for the new facility. And a football homecoming. The Saskatchewan Roughriders play a preseason game in Saskatoon. Then we take you into this magical Saskatchewan store.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a shakeup to the city's landscape. A site for a new homeless shelter has been selected. Keenan Sarkhan now on the chosen location.
After nearly 2 years, the search for a permanent homeless shelter in Saskatoon is over. The province is looking to build a 60-bed shelter here in the coming months.
This is work that our government has been undertaking for a few years now, and it's work that's going to continue.
Tucked away on 31st Street behind Harry Bailey Pool, this Sask Polytechnic parking and storage lot will be home to an open shelter-type hall with movable partitions, private rooms, space for staff office and bathrooms and showers if given council approval.
When all of us have a safe place to be or a safe place to sleep at night, our city works better for everyone.
The Mustard Seed has been chosen to operate the site after taking over operations of 2 other shelter spaces in Saskatoon.
The way we view our shelters is not as an endpoint for someone, but kind of a point along their journey towards stable housing.
Staff are trained in case management to refer clients to needed services. Intake assessments will be done for every guest before entry. There will be a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week staff presence inside the facility, as well as perimeter patrols, and a more coordinated community safety plan is being developed alongside police and fire.
Ensuring that they have the supports so that they are able to successfully gain more independence and a better quality of life.
It's been a complicated journey finding a site, with the city exploring hundreds of options at one point or another since the province tasked cities with picking locations for shelter spaces in October 2023. Some sites were rejected from resident backlash, while others have been running on a temporary basis until this site was chosen. The Mustard Seed, the city, and the province will hold 2 information sessions, one for businesses at the end of August and one for residents in mid-September. Keenan Sarkhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
And the province is planning for the 60-bed emergency shelter to be up and running by the end of winter. A controversial concert coming to Saskatoon is prompting Mayor Cynthia Block to review its use of public parks. At a committee meeting this week, the mayor said she would bring forward a motion asking administration to review how it permits events at public spaces. This comes after a heated protest last week over controversial singer Sean Foyt's upcoming concert at Diefenbaker Park next week. The mayor says other cities run their permits differently, and it's been a long time since there's been a review.
It is my strong hope that moving forward, that we will be able to put those parameters around our permitting process that will better protect vulnerable people in our city.
The city has said there are no public safety issues to revoke Foyt's permit and has limited ability to do so given the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. All right, Jeff, one word to describe today's weather.
Coolish.
Oh, I should have done it at the same time. I was going to say crisp.
Okay, well, you know what? Crisp works as well. You know, it's like we should have worked on that bit. The good news is that for those people who are looking for the return of warm conditions, generally speaking, that is what's happening. We also see some rain moving into parts of northern Saskatchewan, and that is good news as well. So some good news in the forecast, and we'll have all the details for that good news in a little bit.
All right, here's some good news. For the first time in 35 years, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will play a preseason game in Saskatoon. CTV's Stacey Hine has more on what to expect with the green and white.
The Roughriders are returning to Griffith Stadium, and this time it's not just for training camp. The green and white will take to the field for a preseason game in May 2026.
We know Saskatoon is going to show up with massive energy like they always do, and we can't wait until May of 2026.
It's been 35 years since the Riders last played a home game outside of Regina. In 1988, the Roughriders took on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Gordie Howe Bowl. winning 41-6. Each year, Saskatoon would be home to a CFL preseason game until this match in 1991, ending in a dramatic late touchdown win for the Riders. Mayor Cynthia Block says the city is ready to host the event once again.
I know Saskatoon is going to be more than ready to roll out the red carpet and make sure that our neighbors across this great province are treated to the warm hospitality of this city.
The Riders CEO says discussions about bringing back a preseason game to Saskatoon have been ongoing for years, but the opportunity arose when an extra home game was added to next season's schedule. The Riders typically host 9 regular season games, but with the Toronto Argonauts Stadium holding the 2026 FIFA World Cup, both of the teams' matchups will now be played in Regina. Meanwhile, the Saskatchewan Huskies head coach says the team is excited to share their turf with the Riders.
It is an absolute pleasure when we move out of the building and have these guys move in. It's aspirational for our young men.
The team says the full 2026 season schedule, including the dates of the preseason game, will be unveiled in the off-season. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A man who is on Canada's most wanted list is back in Saskatoon facing a first-degree murder charge. Jonathan Ouellette Gendron is accused of killing 29-year-old Brandon Benzel. Ouellette Gendron has been wanted by police since May 2022 following a shooting at an apartment building on Melrose Avenue. Saskatoon police say they learned the 36-year-old was in Mexico and worked with RCMP to have him return to Canada. He was arrested at the Montreal Trudeau Airport on Saturday and made his first court appearance today. An 11-year-old athlete from Saskatoon wants to share his inspiring story with the world. John Flatters has more on the boy who competes with a rare genetic eye disorder.
Harley Lorenz had been following his dad to the gym for some time before he finally started training for wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 5.
It was kind of hard at the time because they're two different. One, you don't want to be on your back or else you get, like, you're out. And then the other one, you want to be on your back. That's the winning position, so it's pretty different.
Not long after, he was diagnosed with a rare genetic condition called X-linked retinoschisis, causing migraines and bright flashing dots and eventual vision loss.
One of the specialists said that contact sports are now off the table. He was wearing a modern martial arts shirt and told them, I love wrestling and jiu-jitsu, and they let him know that you won't be doing that anymore.
But Lorenz saw the mental health benefits of his son continuing to train and compete.
You can still do what you love despite your disability, we'll call it, or whatever we want to call it. And I said, maybe we should continue with this, and one of the other experts agreed. They said they didn't think it was unsafe. I said, as long as it's safe, I think we should keep him in what he loves to do and what he's going to succeed at.
Despite his condition, he's been successful in winning medals and competing with top-class athletes from around North America. Now he's a finalist in the 2025 Youth Athlete of the Year competition with a chance to win $25,000 and be featured in Sports Illustrated. He says it's a chance to share his message with someone who needs to hear it.
I would like to prove by doing this that even if you have a disability, you can still do really good things and you should not give up or make excuses.
Lorenz says he sees a great deal of resilience from his son.
Before he walked out for one of his gold medal matches, he just goes, Dad, do you think it helps that I see millions of exploding dots in my eyes while I'm trying to fight? And I'm like, yeah, because that's probably harder to deal with than whatever this guy's bringing. And then he went out there and won his gold medal, and I was like, what resilience and perseverance.
He's currently first in his group, and the next voting deadline is Thursday night. John Flatters, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An inquest into how a woman died in a Prince Albert jail is scheduled to get underway. 33-year-old Lynette Kakakaway was found unresponsive in her cell at Pine Grove Correctional Center on June 24th, 2022. While paramedics tried to resuscitate her, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Kakakaway's twin sister believes her death could have been avoided. She says she spoke to other inmates, and they claim her sister's requests for help were ignored. The moments leading up to Kakakaway's death will be revealed at an inquest scheduled to begin September 15th. The province is applauding the work of specialized policing teams that crack down on organized crimes like drug trafficking. CTV's Jasmine Pelche has that story.
The province says that in the last 6 months, Saskatchewan specialized policing teams removed more than $600,000 from the hands of criminals.
Public safety, of course, is a top priority for our government, and this is a priority that's shared by the residents and the province's many dedicated policing services. That is why we continue to support law enforcement with investments in policing and targeted enforcement initiatives.
The province says from January to June 2025, officers from crime reduction teams and Saskatchewan trafficking response teams seized 73 firearms, more than 14 kilograms of cocaine, and 2.7 kilograms of methamphetamine from Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Regina. Officers charged 91 people with 445 criminal offenses. Between January and June of 2025, Saskatchewan trafficking response teams opened 62 human trafficking files and initiated 59 human trafficking interventions. Legislative Secretary responsible for corrections, policing, and public safety, Michael Uyghur, presented these results in Prince Albert on Thursday alongside the city's police chief.
For a city of our size, we see an influx of activity, whether it be illegal firearms or illicit drugs. We know that that's connected across border to border and within our nation.
The police chief says that Prince Albert alone saw 23 search warrants in the first 6 months of the year, all related to specific criminal activity to illicit drugs and/or guns. Crime reduction teams target street gangs and prolific offenders. Saskatchewan trafficking response teams investigate illegal weapons, drugs, and human trafficking cases. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
2 new duplexes have opened in Prince Albert for low-income families with the hopes of bringing opportunity, stability, and a place to call home. The Riverbank Infill Solutions Project is a federal-provincial partnership to deliver housing options for Saskatchewan. The nonprofit has teamed up on 44 affordable housing units in the city since 2007, including this new 4-unit project. The provincial and federal governments each committed $750,000 to make the project a reality, as well as $330,000 from Connexus and $20,000 from the city of Prince Albert. RCMP have laid charges after an online video surfaced showing a group of people handling guns north of Saskatoon in Duck Lake. Police say several reports were received earlier this month over the video of people handling guns, including while inside a vehicle. A 23-year-old man and 37-year-old woman are facing charges, including careless use of a firearm. Both are scheduled for court appearances in September. The 2 firearms seen in the video have been taken by police. Health centers in 2 northern communities impacted by wildfires will have patients returning over the next several days. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says it's begun the process of returning acute care patients and long-term care residents to facilities in Isle Cross and La Loche. The SHA says it will be providing information to families and patients about specific plans for their return. The Saskatchewan NDP has accused the Premier of selling out Saskatchewan steel. And as Wayne Mantika reports, questions are being raised about what materials will be used for building pipelines.
Ontario's claim that it will supply the steel for future oil pipelines in Canada has caught Saskatchewan by surprise.
If Doug Ford pulled a fast one, then Scott Moe needs to demand a correction and apology from Doug Ford today.
The controversy stems from a memorandum of understanding signed in July by the premiers of Ontario, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. In a news release, Ontario said today's MOU calls for the new pipelines to be built using Ontario steel, along a route that will connect Western Canadian oil and gas to new and existing refineries in southern Ontario, as well as a new deep-sea port in James Bay. Regina steelmakers are concerned.
I don't believe any facility in Ontario has the capacity to make any, when it comes to large diameter, we used to be the #1 producer of large diameter pipe in North America.
What the Memorandum of Understanding actually said is that it will encourage use of Canadian steel produced by the 3 provinces that signed the agreement. At the signing ceremony, Ontario Premier Doug Ford also referenced use of Saskatchewan steel for future pipelines.
All of it will be built using great Ontario-made and Saskatchewan-made steel, creating jobs, attracting investment, and unlocking the full potential of our economy.
The Memorandum of Understanding between the three provinces is not legally binding. Currently, there is no proposal to build a pipeline to the east, and the sourcing of steel would likely involve a competitive bidding process. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The University of Regina has terminated its lease agreements with the U of R Students' Union. Effective immediately, the union is required to vacate its office and commercial spaces on campus. This follows the university's decision not to fund the Students' Union this fall due to what it says is a loss of confidence in its ability to serve and represent students. CTV News has reached out to the Students' Union for a response. Well, it's that time of year. Combines will be crossing Saskatchewan highways from field to field as harvest season begins. Frey-Juliana de Kloot has that story.
After months of spraying, testing, and checking crops, the harvest season has arrived for farmers like Tyler Panyuk.
Well, we're kind of on schedule this year. I think maybe like it's August 13th. So there has been years that we were desiccating prior to this, but this year I think it's kind of average. The crops have been hanging on a little longer, which usually means more yield.
Everybody has high expectations, but really until it's in the bin and in sound condition, storable condition, I don't really want to speculate on that, but I'm very optimistic. It's going to be overall a very good harvest.
The season had its ups and downs, with moisture levels always on the minds of producers.
For myself, I was really concerned at the start of the growing season, as were a lot of other producers. We had a lack of moisture last fall, and our spring melt went quick.
A late April snowfall and timely rainfall have helped improved conditions for some.
We ended up with one very good timed rain in late June, early July, and without that, things would have been disastrous.
Other regions, particularly on the western side of the province, haven't been so lucky, facing dry conditions through much of the summer. Regardless of the condition of crops, harvest can take a toll on farmers' mental health.
There's always a rush against the clock. Mother Nature, with forecasts, the rush is on and the push is hard to get that crop in the bin.
He asks that farmers make use of resources like the farm stress line when needed, especially as harvest continues well into the fall.
Usually out here we're always done like first couple days of October, but that's one thing you never know when you're farming. Up here, we're always battling winter.
Frey-Juliana de Kloot, CTV News, Yorkton.
Turning now to a Saskatchewan murder case, one step closer to wrapping up. Jacob Carr has the details from Regina's Court of King's Bench.
James Stonechild pled guilty to the murder of Amanda Key-Waiton on Friday morning at Court of King's Bench. The incident occurred at Stonechild and Key-Waiton's residence on the Okanese First Nation. According to the statement of facts, File Hills police were called out to the residence by Stonechild, who said Key-Waiton was badly hurt. The officer who arrived on scene asked Stonechild where Key-Waiton was, to which he replied she was gone, and I guess you need to take me in for murder. After investigation, the cause of death was found to be multiple stab wounds.
There's going to be a final submission for council as to the sentencing that ought to be imposed. But given that the criminal code mandates a mandatory life sentence, I expect that this is what the court will impose as a sentence, so a sentence of jail imprisonment.
The friends and family of Key-Waiton were present for the court proceedings, and they will now have to wait until September for Stonechild's sentence to be passed down. With Stonechild's guilty plea, the court decided to adjourn his sentencing until the morning of September 10th, where friends and family of Key-Waiton will read victim impact statements before Judge Kathy Dawson hands down Stonechild's sentence. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Well, you're never too old for toys, at least not in Maple Creek. That's where you'll find Saskatchewan's largest independent toy store. Angela Stewart takes us inside.
Colorful displays, stocked shelves,
and the unmistakable feeling of fun await anyone who walks in the doors of Cowtown Kids Toy and Candy.
People come in and they're just like, wow, I can't believe this is all here. I mean, people told me about it, but it's totally different when you can step in and experience it.
For the last 10 years, Cowtown Kids has called Main Street in Maple Creek home, delighting locals and out-of-town visitors alike with its charm.
Seeing the idea of the history and using wooden crates to display product, that really kind of spurred us on. And so we just started with a very small offering on the main floor and then to what it's grown into today.
It all began in 2015 and has quickly expanded into multiple areas throughout the building, filled with toys, collectibles, and even 12,000 puzzles displayed upstairs.
We also built on the back of our main building to add more space for our games room and our farm room upstairs.
The growth doesn't stop there. The family operates their business out of 4 buildings, each of them with their own stories.
The building next door to the toy store is the candy and ice cream shop. 3 buildings down from the toy store is the bookstore. And then across the street and down is Old Town Plush. So I'm standing in the old jail cell. These are the part of the brick wall here, and the bars are up top.
Like any building that's been standing for more than a century, it's had its share of uses over the years.
The one part that we're standing in right now was built in 1910. It was Gillett's Saddlery and Harness Shop. And then in 1912, the second part of the building was built, and it was Birch's Hardware. In 1923, they turned it into the provincial building, and they added a jail cell.
Despite its age, much of the existing building remains, including the original brick and the tin ceiling. And while much has changed over the years, one thing's certain, the biggest joy comes from the smallest customers.
I like looking at those cool toys.
We don't go to the city hardly for anything when it comes to any toy or any need we need for the kids in that way for entertainment. It's always fun to watch them find new things in here, and we find something new every time we come.
It's not just the little ones that find joy in the store. Some of the older visitors also come across toys that make them feel like a kid.
But you'd like that.
I don't know.
The police car? Meccano. That's kind of neat.
As much as I love working and running in my stores, there's always that part of me that's like, okay, what's next?
Siemens and his staff are working on a smaller scale expansion for the store, but remain focused on what matters most. Keeping the fun alive for everyone who walks through the door. Angela Stewart, CTV News, Maple Creek.
Still to come, Donald Trump drops a new trade threat and Air Canada winds down its operations. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Air Canada is winding down its operations as 10,000 flight attendants gear up to go on strike if a deal is not reached. Nearly 300 flights have been canceled, impacting more than 55,000 people so far today. And Ottawa is calling on both sides to work with federal mediators. CTV's Camille Carmelli reports.
Behind these doors, the war room for flight attendants who say they're waiting for Air Canada to meet them at the table.
Any progress in talks?
None at all. It's been crickets.
Almost no progress made throughout the day today on a new agreement between the airline and the union representing more than 10,000 flight attendants. With little runway remaining before workers walk off the job, Air Canada told the federal government that it wants to go through binding arbitration that would bring in a neutral third party into the negotiations. The union responded today saying Air Canada's request for ministerial intervention under Section 107 should be firmly rejected.
We don't think that a third party should be coming in to save the day once again for Air Canada to swoop in and not let them negotiate.
Both sides are battling it out over wages. Air Canada has said it's offering a 38% increase in total compensation that includes wages, benefits, and pension over 4 years. But the union says when you look at just the wages, that amounts to just over 17% over 4 years. The airline says that's a fair amount.
This will make them the best paid in Canada. And that's important because they are the best flight attendants in Canada.
Flight attendants also fighting to get compensated for unpaid work that happens before takeoff and after landing. Air Canada has offered to pay 50% for that work while planes are on the ground. The union wants 100%.
What we're offering with regards to ground pay will be the best in Canada. So, we're working to, recognize the contributions of the flight attendants.
Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu's office now urging both sides to work with federal mediators to get a deal done, something that seems far from happening at this time. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
On his way to Alaska, U.S. President Donald Trump dropped another trade threat, this time on the semiconductor sector, which supports more than 120,000 jobs in Canada. CTV's Rachel Aiello on what this could mean for the country.
Donald Trump says he's about to send tariffs on semiconductors climbing. Aboard Air Force One, the U.S. president said that either next week or the week after, he'll be taking new trade action against the microchips that help power virtually all electronic devices.
We're going to have a rate that is going to be lower at the beginning. Then that gives them a chance to come in and build, and very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
Today, the Canadian sector, which does big business south of the border, said Trump's threat could have big implications, not only for consumers, but the country as a whole.
Semiconductors underpin the entire innovation economy. And if you're not able to access semiconductors, you're not actually able to be sovereign in the ways that we mean it in the 21st century.
With another sector now bracing for Trump's impact, new polling indicates anxiety over the state of Canada-U.S. relations is skyrocketing. Nanos' latest numbers show that in the last month, Trump and the state of trade talks overtook economic fear as the top national issue of concern.
Knowing that as time goes by and as Canadian jobs are at risk because of this trade uncertainty, that there will be increasing pressure for the government, not just to get some sort of deal and to bring stability to the relationship, but to also help industries that are currently suffering as a result of Donald Trump.
Nick Nano said that while the Liberals still have a sizable advantage over the other parties in the polls, succeeding or failing on the Trump file is shaping up to be the first defining test for Prime Minister Mark Carney. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hi, we're the Howling Podcast from Girls Rock Camp. Come check out our camper showcase. It's Saturday at the Broadway Theater at 1:30 p.m. Come see your future favorite run-ons. Battle Suit. So, Jeff, what's the weather going to be like today?
Well, today was not too bad, and you young people look like you're getting ready to rock and or roll in a big way tomorrow. But we'll talk about tomorrow because that's when your big show is, a 1:30 showcase at the Broadway Theater. So let's bring up the numbers here. You can check out the Howling Pop Rocks as well as some other rockers, I believe. 24 degrees for a daytime high. So by 1:30, it might be closer to about 22 degrees in that ballpark. Mainly cloudy conditions. Once again, the website to go to girlsrocksaskatoon.ca, or to get tickets, you can go to broadwaytheater.ca. So break a leg with this show. All right, and let's talk a lot about our weather situation. We're going to rock on over to some rainy conditions. Well, the rain, I think, is pretty much gone through, but the icons reflect what we get in terms of information from the airport. So 14 degrees right now in Saskatoon, 15 in Prince Albert, and in the Battleford's 13 with some showers in the area. And the wind has significantly backed off, so it's not too bad at all. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our almanac. Our daytime high today in Saskatoon, just 16 degrees, so well below the seasonal average of 25. The record warm temperature not in jeopardy, 34 from 1961, a very good year. 1 degree, 1930, that was the cold record, and the sun is going to go down at 8:31.
Thanks, Jeff. Coming up, the story of two turtles believed to be stolen. His owner pushes for answers about the missing pets.
Welcome back. Taking a look through our live lens of Skycam. We still see a little bit of blue sky along the horizon, clouds in the area. And as I mentioned, we've had some clouds and with some moisture attached to them. And then they unattached because we had a little bit of rain in the area, but it really hasn't stuck around for very long. Not a big system, but you can certainly see this area of active weather sliding through. So going past Saskatoon, certainly including the Battlefords and moving into the Prince Albert area. And an atmospheric river impacting British Columbia. They're getting a lot more in the way of rainfall, and some of that moisture will certainly make its way over the Rockies towards us, but maybe in northern areas as opposed to southern and central parts of our province. 14 degrees in Saskatoon, 15 in Prince Albert, 13 in the Battlefords. Not particularly windy. The hot spot in the province today, that's Val-Marie. I'm so used to saying Maple Creek, but Val-Marie at 25, Stony Rapids the cold spot at 1. Around the province we go, starting off with the larger communities as we always do at this time of day. 10 degrees in Lloydminster, 19 in Swift Current and Moose Jaw, 18 in Regina, 16 in Yorkton, and 21 in Estevan. Into central parts of Saskatchewan, temperatures ranging from 13 degrees in Rosetown and the Battlefords up to just 18 in Nipawin. It's just a 5-degree range right now in this chunk of the property. And then as we take a look up north, temperatures hanging around 17 for Buffalo Narrows, Key Lake, and La Ronge, but it cools off to 13 in Stony Rapids, 14 in Collins Bay and Sandy Bay, Island Falls, 15 in South End. And down south, well, temperatures are a little warmer around Maple Creek, 26 degrees there, but it cools off to 13 in Outlook, 14 in Elbow and Last Mountain, but 22 in Coronach and Carlisle, so not such a bad situation there, and warmer temperatures are on the way. Here's our futurecast, and this is what I'm talking about, that system moving in tomorrow. It looks like it's taking that northeasterly track that we really like to see with the moisture, so hopefully that will impact some of the fire zones and help out the first responders and the firefighters who are dealing with the wildfires. A mix of sky conditions for northern Saskatchewan tomorrow, including some rain in the Buffalo Narrows area. Temperatures getting up to 21 in Stony Rapids, a little cooler in other locations. 18 in Meadow Lake and Spiritwood with some shower activity, but 10 degrees warmer in Kindersley. 28 tomorrow, 27 for Rosetown. Temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s for southwestern Saskatchewan with a mix of sky conditions. A similar mix of sky conditions for the southeast. Not quite as warm, but it does get up to 28 in Moose Jaw. A windy day in store in Regina. That could have implications for the football game. 17 degrees in Melfort and Hudson Bay, 24 in Watrous, 20 in Humboldt. And then as we take a look at the details for the Battleford, 60% chance of showers tonight into the overnight as well, 11 degrees, but then mainly cloudy skies tomorrow, but a windy Saturday in store with a high of 23, warming up to 25 on Sunday, Monday 26, 27 on Tuesday, but then dropping down a little bit, getting down to 21 on Thursday and Friday. And as you saw there, the 40th anniversary edition of the Baseball Hall of Fame, the Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame is going on in the Battlefords tomorrow. I'll be your MC, so they've still got some tickets left, so check that out. 10 degrees, just called the Hall of Fame. 10 degrees overnight in the Prince Albert area, 17 tomorrow, 24 on Sunday and Monday, and starting off the work week with 27. And for Saskatoon, 11 degrees with a slight chance of showers overnight, but 24 degrees tomorrow, but a windy Saturday in store for Saskatoon. Sunday, 27, the same for Monday, and 29 on Tuesday with sunny skies. Sinead O'Connor is reportedly set to join the list of musicians to receive the biopic treatment. Variety reports a film is in the works that will focus on the early life and career of the Irish musician. The article suggests the movie will also touch on her outspoken activism, drawing attention to painful aspects of Irish history and the legacy of the Catholic Church. There's no word on a potential release date. O'Connor died in 2023 at the age of 56.
I love the idea of spending time together and finding new ways to show people you care.
Oh my gosh, I could do this every day.
Let's get creative.
The Duchess is back. With Love returns August 26th. Meghan Markle is back for a second season of the Home and Lifestyle show. The new season will include DIY crafts and brand new recipes. Special guests include Jay Shetty, Chrissy Teigen, and Tan France.
All right, Jeff, we have some picks of the day.
We sure do, and it's a triple hit as per usual. We're going to start off with this one. This one comes to us from Karen, and she sent us a bunch of photos from Waskesiu, and we'll show some of those to you next week, particularly ones of a pretty interesting little squirrel. But this one is from Waskesiu, and she simply says, Waskesiu never fails. And yes, some amazing photos from Karen, so thank you, Karen. Next one from Valeska, Waiting for the Rain. I love this silhouette. A great shot there. So So thank you, Valeska. And finally, from the Humboldt area, Brad Howe sends us this one. The incredible things you see on Township Road 370. So we got the metal bear, and then we also have Megatron. I think it's Megatron. Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime. There you go. There you go. He's a robot. Robot in disguise. And if you'd like to send us something that's not necessarily in disguise, you can send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News Saskatchewan on Jimmy Fallon. But up next, a bizarre alleged theft involving a man's turtles. A man in Manitoba is offering a hefty cash reward to get back his pet turtles. As CTV's Daniel Hallmarson reports, the man believes the animals were stolen right out of his home.
I remember him saying something to the effect that, who would steal turtles?
Benjamin Wiesenthal has been trying to answer that question for the past 3.5 weeks after someone stole his pet turtles from inside his home south of Gimli.
One turtle I acquired in 1992 was brought in from Vancouver, and the second turtle I acquired in 2000 from Petland.
The missing reptiles are two different species of box turtles, similar to the ones seen here. Both are female and about 5.5 inches in length.
There's not much in the way of interaction between them and me, but I've always liked, reptiles.
Wiesenthal says the turtles were taken on July 19th after he went out biking for a few hours.
Following morning, around 11:30, I went to go feed the animals, and I noticed they were missing.
He says there was no sign of a break-in and that whoever took them likely knew what they were looking for.
The place didn't look ransacked, like somebody was trying to look for money or jewelry or whatever.
Wiesenthal says an acquaintance had been at the house the morning the turtles disappeared, but he says she claims she wasn't involved.
She denied it, and I took her for her word.
Now he's turned to social media and is pleading for his pet's safe return.
I'm offering, a $6,000 reward for the return, no questions asked.
Wiesenthal says he's concerned about the turtles' health and well-being, noting they require special care, including a controlled climate and a specific diet.
I've had them for years, and they're important to me. I guess you could say that with anyone who has had a pet for years.
An RCMP spokesperson tells CTV News Mounties received a report of the theft and say the investigation is ongoing. Daniel Hallmarson, CTV News, Gimli.
When we come back, how you can get involved in next year's FIFA World Cup. And Saskatchewan takes center stage on Jimmy Fallon.
All right, let's take a look at tomorrow in terms of our rural forecast. And as you can see, temperatures in some places are warming up compared to today, but that's not true of Meadow Lake. We're expecting some showers there. And in Spirit Wood, we mentioned that. But 23 for the Lloydminster area, 28 for Kindersley, 27 in Outlook. But as you take a look at places like Hudson Bay, chilly 17 tomorrow. And that's true of Melfort as well. 20 in Wynyard down south. Let's take a looky-loo there. And as you can see, really warm in the western side of the province, down the southwest. Leader at 30, Maple Creek 31, 28 in East End and Rockland, 29 in Coronach, but then it drops off to 22 in Broadview and Carlisle, but 19 is the expected daytime high in Kenora. But things are looking pretty warm in Capel, 25 degrees, so a seasonal temperature there or thereabouts, but it's going to be windy, winds out of the southeast, 30 gusting to 50, so that's how things are shaping up in Capel. And Capel is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Game 1 of the WCBL final took place last night in Regina between the Red Sox and Sylvan Lake Gulls. Then it went down to the wire.
Offensive player for Regina tonight, and that one is out of here.
Matthew Fox went 5 for 6 with a home run, but it would not be enough for the Sox. Sylvan Lake tied the game in the 6th and then plated 1 in extra innings to win the game 1-3-2. Despite the loss, the Sox remain hopeful. Well, here's one way to be part of next year's FIFA World Cup.
It's a really, really exciting time for Vancouver and also for FIFA. This is the largest volunteer program of any FIFA event.
FIFA is putting out a call for volunteers in every host city, and that includes Vancouver and Toronto. About 3,000 volunteers are needed for the 7 games being hosted at BC Place. They need roughly the same number of volunteers for the games that will be played in Toronto. And for Saskatchewan soccer fans, well, you can apply too. You don't need to be from those cities in order to volunteer. Applicants must be at least 18 years of age and be available between June 11th and 19th of next year. Coming up, we introduce you to a new band. Then Jimmy Fallon sings about Saskatchewan.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Celebrity Jeopardy. All right, Jeff, do you like Nickelback?
You know, I don't mind them. I don't know why there's all the hate, but we won't get into that.
Okay, well, then you'll love Nickel Cat.
Never made it as a wise man. I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing. Tired of living like a blind man. I'm sick aside without a sense of feeling.
How great is that? These Cat musicians are paying tribute to, of course, the Alberta bands. They have everything you want in a band. Lead singer, guitar, keyboard, drums, and even a dancer. That's my favorite. Don't forget their rock and roll attitude, of course.
There you go.
That's fun.
Exactly. I'm sure the cats love doing that.
Yeah, they do. They consented. Don't call PETA. They're happy.
Yes.
All right. The province of Saskatchewan was talked and sung about on Jimmy Fallon. Take a look.
Chappell Roan's new song, The Subway, has sparked a tourism boom in Saskatchewan. Yeah, she mentions it in the song, but I don't see what the big deal is, because there's actually a bunch of other songs that mention Saskatchewan, but they're not getting any press. Really? Well, like this one here.
Yeah, it's a party in Saskatchewan.
You know, see what I mean? I mean, also, like this one too.
If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to Saskatchewan.
You know what I'm saying? That never get any press pickup at all. No press pickup. This one too.
If you're lost, then you will find me. Saskatchewan.
Yeah, you know that one? I mean, that's a jam that we all know and love. And of course, finally, this classic.
That is great. That's great. Well, we have a couple.
Do we? Well, you have a couple. You're much more creative than I.
Hey, Jude, Saskatchewan.
Very good, very good. I liked your Billy Joel, actually. I know that's...
Play me a song, Saskatchewan. You know.
That's very good. You know, I forgot to bring a magic wand. I was going to try that magic wand from the exhibition.
Right.
I forgot.
Add a little flair.
Exactly. It's going to be a little showbiz, but...
it's good fun. I'm glad we're talking
I think so.
about
Although, a tourism boom, I don't know. That just, we'll see.
We'll see. Well, if she comes to play, yeah.
Let me tell you, if I was a cover band, I would be getting all over this and just trying to do something fun with this. I think we're probably going to see a lot of these parody songs popping up. So if we have time for this, we'll tell you that it's going to be not too bad tomorrow. It will be a windy day, though. Temperatures getting up to around 24 degrees in the middle of the afternoon. By 5 o'clock, 22, but it's going to be a windy Saturday. So hold on to your hats.
There you go.
Yeah.
So would you say we're walking on Saskatchewan? Hey, sunshine?
You're
there we go. We can go to the credits. I'm being told to.
No, I think you're doing a great job. Thank you for being here for the last couple of weeks.
Well, thanks so much for having me and putting up with me in the teleprompter.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Okay, let's take a look at what's the credit roll.
Yes. Oh, I'll tell you all about this. Actually, I won't tell you too much because I don't know too much about it. But this is when the Rough Riders were in Saskatoon. So
yes, last time they played a preseason game here in Saskatoon.
And it was 35 years ago.
Exactly. Way before you you were born. So there you go.
Yes, way.
Exactly.
Not too
And here are all the people that played for the Riders. Yeah, there was a defensive back. Oh, wait a second. No. These are the people who work here. So thanks to them and thanks to you for being with us and sharing some of these good times. So think of your own special Saskatchewan songs over the weekend. That's your assignment. That's your homework.
Yes, write in. I'm sure they'll be much better than mine.
Good night.
Good night.